Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I am. I'm excited to talk about um, self worth, how it shows up in our life, what holds us back in our life because we lack self worth. And oftentimes we might be aware that we lack self worth, but many times it shows up as that feeling of not being enough. Okay. And I believe that there's more for us. Let's see. We are in retrograde. Mercury went into retrograde 2 days ago, yesterday. So have you noticed anything? Have you felt the impact? I'm excited. It's the last retrograde for Mercury of this year, and I'm excited um, to have it over with. I'm glad it's now and not in December or at the end of Thanksgiving or in the Thanksgiving time for those that celebrate Thanksgiving in November. But we still have 5 planets in retrograde, by the way. So some went direct, but we're still impacted by them. Yeah. All right. I am, and so some of the things that I'm going to talk about might trigger you. And that might be because we have Mars in retrograde, because we have Pluto, and because Mercury, there's a lot in retrograde, by the way. but but it's that sensitivity right now, and maybe I want to say ease, but it's more easily triggered in things that might be showing up. So just know that it's all happening for a reason. It's to help you push through uncomfortability and to take action in your life. It's to remind us of letting go of what doesn't work. Yeah. All right. Oftentimes, we are taught in society that financial abundance goes hand in hand with success, and that personal fulfillment is about how much money we have. And that's not necessarily true for everyone. But oftentimes we buy into that, all right? And we are not taught to achieve financial abundance doing what we love. We're not taught to pursue our education even in what we love. We're taught and told oftentimes what to do. So that undermines who we are right from the beginning. Next, when it comes to relationships, you might have had the opinion that you didn't need anyone because maybe one of your parents told you, you don't need love. You want to focus on your career. Love will come later, right? And so they taught you and encouraged you to pursue the career and not have love, or that in some way it created this dichotomy that love was not possible and a career, which is also a feeling that you cannot have both, which I don't believe. You may have had parents that did not model good marriage. So they fought a lot, and the family dynamic was in chaos. And so you might have felt, why would I want this? And I don't want to repeat that. And so then during most of your life, you've excused yourself from it, right? So no matter what the reason is, if low self-worth is a contributing factor, either consciously or subconsciously, what it does is it really creates walls and barriers from relationships happening, life partnerships specifically. Have you ever felt like achieving financial abundance, doing work that fulfills you, and having a loving life partner is something that only a select few other people get to experience? Many people do. Many people feel left out from that. If you feel that it's for everyone else but you, let me know that. Just say it's for everyone else. Love is for everyone else. Financial abundance is for everyone else. Happiness is for everyone else. How does for everyone else but you show up in your life? I'm going to ask a lot tonight of clarifying questions to you. to ask yourself and how they show up in your life, because we're not immune to them. And even those that seem from the outside to have a lot of something, I guarantee you, lack of self-worth shows up somewhere in their life. We have all tried working harder and longer at different points in our life, right? Many of us have changed jobs, careers. We even go from partner to partner, but still feel financial insecurity and that belief that love is out of reach. Yeah. Oftentimes people feel that one or the other or both of out of reach. Have you ever felt like that? Yeah. Type below. I have felt love is out of reach. I have felt happiness is out of reach, right? It may not be for everyone else. You can get that it could be for you, but it feels out of reach. See, they're slightly different. They're still a belief system, but they are different. Very often, those feelings of not being allowed into the inner circle, whether it was in childhood, to the inner circle of friends, the inner circle of the popular group, that extends, by the way, in our life, where we don't feel like we are allowed into the inner circle of success, or the inner circle of love, career, or to have the inner circle of both, is because, okay, of a deep-seated belief that you are not worthy, that you are not enough. It can be inherited. It can be passed down. I'm not enough in your epigenetics. Maybe you saw it in a busy parent or a very talented parent that never took action in living that dream. Maybe they could have done much more with their life, but they played it safe. That would be an inherited pattern of not worthy of more. And the belief that life can't get better. Be mindful. How does that show up in your life right now? Yeah, right? So I ask you, how do feelings of low self-worth show up for you? Are you in an unfulfilling job? And you know what I mean by that, right? Has nothing to do with money. Not that question. Are you in an unfulfilling job? It's that sinking feeling of having to show up. It's that sinking feeling of getting on Zoom for those team meetings and you dread every bit of it. It's not feeding your soul. Why are you in it? Yeah, you do need to pay your rent. But I promise you, I'm going to give you an example really quickly here. I have a client who is an attorney and working, 15 hours a day has not been uncommon in her life. The dread of one more project, one more research, one more thing to do has been overwhelming for her. So we set a goal. And a part of it too is because the thought of being success meant that she had to work really hard and she couldn't feel that she was worthy of success. She had to earn success. So the deal was, in the current job she's in, she would finish the projects that had been given to her. When she finished the jobs that had been given to her, that had been going on too long, okay, she could then resign. She did it. She did it today. She resigned. She finished those projects. She resigned. Before the day's end, a new independent client showed up for her. You with me? You see how it works? Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself, because although they include a little bit of truth, does not mean they are your life truth. Are you afraid of taking steps to do what you would love to do? Have you created a story that you can't? Really, because there's a deep feeling that there is not more, or that you're not worthy of more. We don't walk around saying, I feel shameful. We don't walk around saying cognitively, I feel unworthy of this. You have to be present and see how it shows up in your life. Okay. Are you single and can never seem to find the right partner? They don't live up to your expectations. Okay. You don't have opportunities. Do you keep attracting the same type of energy in a relationship? So, do you have people come into your life, but they keep being the same people with different faces? By the way, that can be a root cause of feeling unworthy of having an equal, balanced relationship. And so when you do attract somebody that is worthy, you might come up with reasons why they won't work. They're too nice. They're boring. They aren't exciting enough, right? We will create stories around why something won't work when really it's exactly what we want. It's just that we don't feel worthy of truly having equal, balanced relationship. Random thought, you might be saying, well, what does an equal, balanced relationship mean? And what does that look like? The best example I can come up with is if you are in relationships where you are the cheerleader, where you are the one motivating, encouraging, pulling them along. I like to think of you're pulling them along. You can do this. If you're the one always having to do and be everything in the relationship, it is not balanced and it is not equal. An equal relationship is a give and take. Do you feel worthy of that? Just because your family didn't model it doesn't mean you can't have it. I love clearing that. There are very often false beliefs and inherited patterns that are the root cause of why things are not coming into our life. In fact, every childhood experience that's been at all traumatic, like not getting picked for the volleyball team, not getting picked to be cheerleader, not getting picked to go to a party for the 16th bar mitzvah, or when kids turned 13, and not getting invited to the bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. Do you know what I'm saying? Every childhood experience validates a belief of not being enough. You can inherit the belief. The belief can be modeled by parents. You can have experiences in your life that validate it. I'm here to tell you, it does not mean it's your truth. Now, here are some limiting beliefs from past clients that I've worked with. Some of them may resonate with you. My intention is to spark your mind. I want to spark your memory. I want to spark your thought pattern. I want to bring and expand your awareness so you can start looking at, right now at this time in our lives on planet Earth, looking at yourself and going, aha, yeah, all right, that's what this is intended. Not that it has to match perfectly. I want to bring awareness to you, to yourself. Here we go. We can have negative money beliefs around success, okay? Because if we don't financially meet our Father's expectation, it gets tricky. These get tricky, everybody, okay? They aren't just simple line cut, dry line things, okay? So it could be that you fall short of success. You create this belief that you fall short of success because it doesn't measure or top the success of your parent. Now here's where it gets tricky. That's not something you'd walk around thinking, right? So to begin with, it's something new to think about. Many people that I work with have just the opposite, though. They have a belief that they cannot dishonor their parents by making more money than they do or that they did. That's a biggie. And these are all will show up, everyone, no matter how much money you make. They'll all show up no matter how successful you have. So don't be saying that's just for the wealthy people. I'm talking about everyday things that show up. Here's another one. If I ever got it, success, love, money, I wouldn't know what to do with it to begin with. So I'm just fine the way I am. It's a limiting belief, okay? Now, because you've never had it, you're not used to having it. So you're better off not knowing what you're missing. You see how these little comments, they actually begin to create truth for you. All right. Here's another one. You don't have any sort of knowledge of the stock market, investing, etc. It will only lead to disappointment. Why try? Now, stock market and investing can be as simple as putting away to a SEP IRA if you own your own business. It's the consistent savings. It would fall in that category. Okay? Here's a big one. The false belief that the universe better not give it to you because you won't be responsible for it. So it's like the universe knows best. It's not giving it to you anyway because you wouldn't be responsible for it. It's an excuse. That is not truth. The universe is here ready to support you in all of your hopes and dreams. Okay. Feeling guilty about spending money. Yeah. So here we go. Spending money you don't have. Spending these patterns of feeling guilty, they're inherited of spending money on things you don't actually need. And feeling guilty for purchasing things for pleasure. See? It's an unworthiness. What about, here's another one. When we feel unworthy, we don't feel equal to someone else that has. Okay? So we compare. And so we might have a belief. Now, you might have actually heard this belief at the table. Okay? Wealthy people are unhappy. I heard it. Did you hear it? Tell me below. Did you hear wealthy people are unhappy? Yeah. Wealth only brings unhappiness. Wealth is misery. Okay? Now, I want to pause here because you can tell I'm talking about low self-worth in many things. Money and love primarily. Okay? But right now I'm honing in on that, on the success aspect, okay? You see, when we feel low self-worth, we won't take action in what really makes us happy. We'll stay in relationships that we're really miserable in. We will not allow ourselves to have happiness. Well, we will actually self-punish when we don't feel worthy of something. Yeah. What about that belief that you have to be somebody you're not? Deep unworthiness there. Deep unworthiness. If you feel that you have to pretend, I call it wearing a mask, okay? In order to fit in, you can almost guarantee there's a lot of inherited shame there. Because whoever they were and whoever you are, you don't feel worthy to be you. Low self-worth. All the way. Okay? That feeling deep within you at your core of not being enough. The pattern of working yourself to the bone. Now this is at work or in a relationship. Working yourself to the bone to feel worthy of love, to feel worthy of money. Well, that's low self-worth, but you can also have inherited a fear of being rejected. And then during your lifetime, whenever you started to step into your power, people would be like, and who do you think you are? And what's up with you? And what's, that feels icky. And when things feel icky to us, we shut down and we slow down. Yeah. Oftentimes, we will overextend ourselves to validate our worth, which prevents us from taking care of our own needs and creating our own life. low self-worth can cause us to live this vicious cycle that repeats on a day-to-day basis. Nobody wants that. That's what we're being called here, everybody. This time right now is to get off of that hamster wheel. We've been forced off. Don't look for life to return to the exact same way. You are missing an opportunity. We cannot put our head in the sand and think that everything's going to be okay in 2021. If you haven't learned the lesson and you're not looking at your stuff and you're not being proactive in healing it and getting rid of it, it's not going away. And it doesn't matter if there's COVID or not. I promise, now is the time to embrace it. So, I know that there's a lot to do. I know that there's a lot of nobility around doing and being everything for everyone else. Maybe you had a mother who did everything, took care of her parents, took care of a sick child, PTA president. She never did anything except for serve. There's no criticism on my part. Okay? Except I feel bad for the individual if they reached a certain point in their life and they said, you know what, I always wanted to be a writer. Too late now. Oh, and by the way, I need to go take so-and-so to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We can put our life on hold, our hopes and our dreams, our desires, okay, because we don't feel worthy. So what happens is we earn our own merits by doing things for everyone else. What that means is it becomes hard when certain timelines have been passed on to now take action in our own life. It does not mean you missed it. It does not mean that those opportunities are gone. It just means you're going to have to be mindful to create them, mindful to break patterns of earning your worth through only giving of service. Okay, it's when it's out of balance. If you've heard me speak before on different platforms, you know that I think being a people pleaser is a gift until it's out of balance. When it's out of balance, then we're neglecting ourselves. That's not okay. We are not put on earth to neglect ourselves, I promise. So here's some more things to ask yourself. These are fears that I was thinking about when we don't feel confident, okay? When we have low self-worth. Do you have a fear of being ridiculed? Now, nobody wants to be ridiculed, but you know what I mean. Is it out of balance? Okay, do you hold yourself back from speaking up when you have things to say, when you have an opinion on a subject, but you don't speak it because others might not like it, and you might be criticized, you might be ridiculed? Is having someone to love in your life, even if it's not a healthy love, better than being alone? See, this is a biggie. And it comes, it shows up. I've had it show up in male and female. If I had to pick one, probably more females, okay? But it does come up in both, where we will accept people into our life and in a relationship, move in with them. I'm not saying marriage, but we'll let them into our world, into our life. We might marry them, but normally it's like you let them in and then you're like, I knew better. Right? And it's that desire for companionship, the desire to be loved, as a belief that it's better than nothing. It won't work. We have to live in integrity with what will work for us. So do you continually attract the same people into your life? Well, again, that's that low self-worth, because we don't feel worthy of having a balanced person. We might feel they're too good for us and they're going to reject us when they get to know us. That can be a ruminating background noise for many people, that if they get to know me, they won't love me. Yeah, very common. This is the time on planet Earth. You heard me say it, I'm going to say it again. This is the time for your life, to get your life in action, okay? This is the time to change your life. Change your life, up-level your life, create more joy in your life and happiness. Learn to find gratitude in the little things, right? And make decisions that are uncomfortable for you, that you've put off doing, that you don't want to do. If you are ready to release inherited patterns, okay? And coming from my point, I think everybody should be, right? Like, I don't want to hold on to this stuff. I work on it all the time. I am where I am because I cleared old patterns. It doesn't mean that I don't have more. There's never an arrival. When I look back on my life now from where I was, say, let's just go back 5 years, okay? I am a different person than I was 5 years ago. I don't have as many fears. I still have to push through uncomfortability. Yeah, that hasn't changed an awful lot, okay? I still have to talk to myself and tell myself it's going to be okay whether I believe it or not. I still have to be okay with somebody not liking me. Because you see, that was a deep unworthiness, that people didn't like me. And especially, people in leadership and things like that. And I know where it came from. It's not so big anymore. I was in kindergarten, and I was the teacher's pet, Mrs. Gillespie. And she loved me, okay? Until she didn't. And then I was her enemy. What happened is they had this big playhouse on the schoolyard, and it had actually real china dishes in it. Like, we wouldn't have that anymore, right? And then it had shelves in there. And one of the kids knocked the side of the building. It knocked a china pot off, and it broke on the cement. And I got blamed. She pulled me up in front of the class, she leaned me over her knee, and she spanked me. So I'm humiliated, I'm embarrassed, I'm shamed, I'm blamed, and I'm no longer her favorite. I was completely abandoned, rejected on all levels, right? It impacted me. Now we can remember those childhood experiences and be, oh, okay, that's why it happened. I get why it happened. I get that that's not me anymore. But the truth is that the vibrational energy of that experience, humiliation, embarrassment, shame, if those frequencies are not released, our subconscious will store that. And it'll keep it going in the background of our mind. And it will cause us to shut down before taking action. We will find all reasons to serve everybody else, but not ourselves. Yeah. Okay? If you are ready to have an increase of love, balance, joy, step into life purpose. You won't do your life purpose if you've got stories going on about why you can't. It's too late in life. I'm not good at it anymore. Nobody's going to buy my art. People don't want to know what I say. I've never mattered. Why would I now? If you've got these little things speaking up in your brain, you have low self-worth. And those vibrational energies, even though you cognitively know why they're there, if they're there on a subconscious level, it will hold you back. And so that might look like you're constantly struggling to move forward. You're constantly battling, the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. On again, off again. Okay? If you want to know more, put info in the box. I value your time. I value you being with me. I value our relationship together. And I want you to know that I've never been happier in my life than I am right now, even through all of this. Even through all the uncomfortability, the riots in Los Angeles, the looting and all of that, all of the political things going on, all of the planets in retrograde going on, has not rocked my happiness. There is a sense that I carry of inner peace and balance. Now, I don't always know. I might be a little I might get triggered in a hair of anxiety now and then, but I work on it. I work on self-healing. I work on taking care of myself, and I want you to do it for you. All right? I want you to embrace change, push through uncomfortability, and know that you too can trust that life is good for you. You too can trust that there is more good things that are going to happen to you. I believe in you. Put some of those answers to those questions I gave you because I care. That's why. I didn't ask them to be random. I asked them to bring an awareness to you. I asked them because I care about you and I want to get to know you. All right. Until next week, have a great one. And I look forward to connecting again. Bye.